It's 2025, and U.S.-Iran tensions have exploded into the spotlight again. Airstrikes, nuclear threats, regional power shifts. It's the most dangerous standoff in years. But how did we get here, and what's really at stake? On June 21st, 2025, the U.S. launched a dramatic military operation. Three of Iran's key nuclear facilities, Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz, were struck using bunker-buster bombs. It wasn't just symbolic. This was the first time an American president directly attacked another nation's nuclear program in coordination with Israel. The Trump administration claimed the operation was a success and that Iran's nuclear capabilities were devastated. Iran, however, pushed back, saying it had already moved its nuclear material to safer locations. And 2 days later, on June 23rd, Iran retaliated, firing missiles at a U.S. airbase in Qatar. No casualties were reported, but the message was loud and clear. Iran wasn't going to back down quietly. Despite the intensity, a ceasefire, brokered by President Trump himself, was announced soon after. But within hours, both sides were already violating its terms. Trump's public messaging only added to the chaos. On one hand, he emphasized that he wasn't seeking regime change in Iran and wanted diplomacy. On the other, his social media posts hinted at regime change anyway, sending mixed signals around the world. Let's rewind for a second, because this crisis didn't just appear out of nowhere. It really ramped up on June 13th, when Israel struck Iran first. They hit nuclear sites, missile factories, and military targets, claiming it was necessary to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. The U.S. joined in soon after, with Trump aligning closely with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. But to really understand the full weight of this crisis, you need to know the long, bitter history behind it. U.S. and Iran relations have been rocky since 1979, when the Islamic Revolution toppled America's ally, the Shah, and replaced him with an anti-Western regime. From the hostage crisis to U.S. support for Saddam Hussein in the Iran-Iraq War, the bad blood runs deep. In 1988, the U.S. Navy even shot down an Iranian passenger jet, killing over 200 civilians. One of the biggest sources of tension today is Iran's nuclear program. In 2015, the JCPOA, an international nuclear deal, placed limits on Iran's nuclear activity in exchange for sanctions relief. But when Trump took office in 2018, he pulled the U.S. out of that deal and reimposed punishing sanctions, calling it part of his maximum pressure campaign. Now in 2025, those old tensions have erupted again, with missiles flying and alliances shifting fast. But there's something even bigger happening in the background. Iran's grip on the region is slipping. Its closest ally, Syria's Assad regime, collapsed earlier this year, weakening Iran's influence across the Middle East. And that's forcing Iran to pivot diplomatically and militarily. So what happens next? Will Iran double down with more retaliation, or take the diplomatic off-ramp Trump is offering? And where does Saudi Arabia, one of the region's biggest power players, really stand in all of this? Find out in Part 2, where we dive into Saudi Arabia's surprising strategy, the growing risk of regional war, and whether a new nuclear deal could still be on the table.